just want to start off by saying I love you guys because you're such a talking group. And that is awesome. How many of you know each other and don't see each other until you're here at the market? Yeah, that's awesome. That's what this market does, is bring people together. So I want to introduce myself. I'm John Piazza from Edible Wow Magazine. So we work with Oakland County Farmers Market to put on these events for you. And as you can see, we have a really cool series coming up with the starting of one of our premier chefs, one of the most dynamic people that we know, a chef that I'm sure he will continue to talk your ear off for an hour plus if you like. His depth of knowledge is incredible about food and also the nutritional aspects of food. So please ask a lot of questions as you go. He is embarking on a wonderful journey of not only a career as a chef, but also citizens' provisions, which he grows microgreens and flowers and all kinds of stuff that he's going to talk about. But it's really intriguing because not only is that healthy for you, but it also takes your food to another level. You're able to add additional unique flavors and things like that. So Chef's got some really cool stuff to talk about. So I will step aside and stop yelling at you. Sorry about this in the front row. We do have a little speaker over here. He is mic'd, so you should be able to hear in the back. If not, definitely either come sit a little closer, or I can try to turn this up, and then these people will not be able to hear after the show. So, thank you very much. Welcome to this presentation of Cooking with Edible Wow, and I'd like to introduce Chef Frank Church.
Thank you, sir. I said you should run for Congress. What do you think about that? Thanks for coming, everybody. I see some familiar faces, and that's nice.
Can you hear?
Okay. Is it working all right? You guys can hear in the back row? No. Okay.
See, the volume. Go ahead, test.
Test. Oh, there we go. All right, very good. Okay, hi. Hello, everyone. Okay, so for those, if I haven't met you before, or if this is one of your first times seeing me talk, I would like to talk a little bit about some of my background so that you can get a perspective on what we're going to talk about today. I came up as a young student through the American Culinary Federation and their apprenticeship program. This was in the mid-'80s. And so the culinary colleges around here just weren't the way they are now. That was really the only halfway decent education, you know, to be able to work in an approved house. So I apprenticed at the Macus Enterprise under Golden Master Chef Leopold. And then the second year I was with Chef Jimmy Schmidt at the London Chop House. My roots of formal education are cream and butter. Cream and butter.
Yeah.
Or, yes, we've done that before at one of my classes, cream and butter. And so, because as a professional chef back in those days, it doesn't matter what you do, it's all about flavor. You have to nail the flavor. Everybody had MSG, big MSG things in their kitchens. Everyone had them. And so, as years went on, I started getting sous chef jobs and executive chef jobs. I ended up becoming the managing partner of Morel's, a Michigan Bistro. And as such, I met my partner with Citizen Provisions, Melinda Collins. Melinda was working with the Michigan Department of Agriculture for the Michigan Select Michigan program, and she recruited me to come with her and help spread the word on how Michigan's, number 2 industry is agriculture, and if we don't support our number 2 industry, we're going to pay more taxes. That's kind of a no-brainer. I just looked last night, 10.2 million people in Michigan. If we all spent $5 a week on Michigan products, we would put $975,000 a week back into our economy. And so, if you have any kids in schools and you want new school books, or you got a bad road in front of you, think about it next time you don't buy the Faygo and you buy somebody else's. You understand what I'm saying? It's a simple choice, and we need to make it at ground level. Those folks who are here at a farmer's market are making the ground level choice to support your local biome, your local economy, your local farmers. And you know what? Part of what the message is behind microgreens is the same message that's behind farmers markets. I harvest and serve directly, right? There's oftentimes it never even hits the refrigerator, right? It's cut and it's delivered, and then, so the flavonoids and the phytochemicals that are in those little tiny micronutrients haven't like disappeared yet. They're still there. When I was a child, my grandfather would always take us down to the field corn field, because we had a bunch of boys in his family, so he would do it. He did like 3 times to me and my brother, because he forgot he'd already done it like twice. But my papa would take us out there, and he would take those big, long, tall corn stalks and walk them over, still alive, corn still on the corn stalk, and he'd have us peel the silk off. Now remember, this is field corn, which is the lowest sugar of all corn, and he'd have us nibble the top, and I swear to you, it tastes like saccharin. The sugar content was so high, still being on the stalk, right? And that message lasted a long time. Now we're talking sugar versus micronutrients, but the message is the same, the principle is the same. Food starts to lose its nutritional density the second it's picked, and the flavors the second it's picked. And so these guys who are selling fresh stuff from their markets, no wonder it's more flavorful, right? A tomato from your backyard is way better from the supermarket, right? But it doesn't travel 1,800 miles with all that petrol cost, which is why they're able to leave it on the vine longer, because it doesn't have to go to a distribution house and then another distribution house and then another distribution house. They just pick it and bring it here. 400 times more lycopene of a tomato from your backyard than one conventionally farmed. 400 times more. Lycopene is terrific for Alzheimer and dementia issues, terrific for your heart, right? And it's just one simple micronutrient that is massively improved by fresh. Well, that's the whole thing about microgreens. Fresh. Today I'm going to be cooking with what was arguably our #1 seller, which is what we call celebration mix. The celebration mix is we're in fine dining restaurants all around town, right? We have a live growing microgreen display at the Detroit Athletic Club right next to Chef Loving's chef's table. And we're able to tell the chefs that, hey, these brassica mix, this broccoli, organic broccoli, purple Vienna kohlrabi, and red mammoth cabbage is loaded with nutrients because it's really fresh. The kohlrabi is loaded, has 1 serving of kohlrabi has your daily vitamin C, completely, right? B1, B6, B9, potassium and phosphorus, loaded with those micronutrients, as opposed to conventionally farmed stuff. Do you think that they put back the copper and the selenium and the zinc into the zinc and all that other trace nutrients into the soil when they're using those fertilizers? No, why? They don't need to. Because all they're worried about is getting it to market. They're not worried about the micronutrients, right? And so small farmers or certified organic farmers, sometimes they don't pay for that certification, but they're still trying to do the right thing. And that is they rotate their fields. They make sure that they put their cows or their pigs or whatever out in the field to replace those micronutrients. Because if they're not in the food, like conventionally farmer food, they're not in you. Those micronutrients is what keeps your body running right. You can go without it for a while, but it's like antifreeze. If you don't have antifreeze for long enough, something's going to stop working. So that's what I want to talk about today. The red cabbage is loaded with glycosates. Long story short, there's a lot of cancer inhibiting properties to all kinds of cabbage, especially microgreen cabbage. And again, vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin K, potassium and iron, loaded with good stuff. And then the broccoli, now we've all heard about broccoli microgreens, right? Terrific anti-cancer stuff. All right, well, that's what's going to go into what I'm making today. That's just going to be a simple breakfast lavage, breakfast roll-up, okay? And so when Melinda and I were working with Select Michigan program, we worked a lot with the Michigan Apple Commission, the Carrot Commission out of Ludington, the Cherry Commission, et cetera. And for the Michigan Apple Commission, we created a salsa with apples, an apple salsa. I love it. It's nice, it is refreshing, it's really good, and I'm going to show you how to use it with a breakfast dish today. So, first things first, I want to get my apples cut up, and Is this camera okay? That's all right. Hey, camera. All right, so what we're going to do, and I cut my apples a little different than some folks do. So get the cheese off my plate. All right, so when I'm doing a cut like this, I like to take and kind of get it sized up right here first, right? So I have the right thickness of what I'm looking for salsa. So I want the apples to be the size of a tomato would be in salsa. So I cut it so it's kind of ready to go for the next step, right? So get it next to this other apple so it doesn't fall over, right? And so now it's kind of ready to go into the next cut. Some of you guys have heard my whole knife thing so many times, but I gotta say it again. Gary, you can close your... you know, you probably heard this at cooking classes before, but let me try to put a different light on it, okay? When cutting, long knives are much safer than short knives. Much safer than short knives. Embrace this word, safer. Stick with me for a minute. So, when a child learns to eat, okay? When they first start holding their little Johnny fork or Johnny spoon or whatever you call it, they grab it like this, right? Why is that? Because of your thumb and your four fingers. That's a natural way that human beings touch things, right? Very natural. So the child is grabbing it in a natural way and then trying to feed themselves, right? But then eventually they get good at it and good enough to be able to get it into their mouth. Then, hey, great. Mom and Dad said, okay, now stop. Change everything you just learned. We want you to hold your fork like this. Why didn't we change it? They just got it good. It's not etiquette. It's control. There's more joints, there's more muscles. You can take and hold this tool and be more effective with this tool by reteaching yourself from what's natural to a different way of holding the tool. That's all we're talking about, right? Reteach yourself a different way to hold this tool, the knife. Instead of holding it like this with all this stuff exposed here, when you're trying to cut something, right? Holding it like what's human nature, to grab your food like in a human nature way, don't do that. There's too much exposure. Keep the tip on the blade, keep the tip of the knife on the counter, and use this little kind of like guide. It's like a safety guide, right? As long as you don't come up too far, you're not going to hurt yourself at all. My knife touches my fingers every cut. It's just so I know where it's at. So in that way, you have a safety guide, and before you know it, you know, you're able to do stuff that you're not supposed to be doing with knives. But it takes the same commitment that a child would give to learning how to hold a spoon. So if they can do it, you can do it, right? So be patient with yourself, give it a try, give it a week or two or three. You will find that your cut accuracy goes way up and your safety level definitely goes up. All right. So we get these cut up. Now I like to use for this recipe, if I got my apple, there's a terrific apple farmer down here right now, as a matter of fact, all right? So if you'd like to go ahead and get some apples today, you can. I like to use Northern Spies or Braeburns with this. See how I'm holding, I got my thumb on one side, my finger on the other. I can control my food by holding it with that little kind of gait, if you will. So today I'm going to use micro cilantro in this recipe. All microgreens have generally minimum 40 times, 400 for the legs bean, right? 40 times more for the microgreens, 40 times more nutrients than its adult counterpart. So, you know, you can eat 40 orders of broccoli or 1 order of broccoli sprouts, you know. sprouts work terrific in smoothies, soups. You can put them in with, heck, put them in it with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Local Acres right over here. They're here every week, right? You can get your, hey boss, you can get your microgreens all the time. I have an exclusive chef clientele. Maybe someday I'll have a home service, right? But not right now. He does. He's your man. He's in Kego Harbor. You can go there any day in the week and pick up microgreens. Take care of your family. Remember when we used to like go to both the supermarket and the fruit market and the butcher? How come we had time for that? Where did that time come from? Maybe it wasn't scrolling on the phones as much? Maybe not watching TV? I don't know, but it was a choice that we're no longer making. Think about that. I think it's worth going there. Just for the flavor alone, not to mention the health benefits. So, apples, apple a day keeps the doctor away. They really do reduce heart disease, cancer, asthma, and type 2 diabetes, because of the fiber. With some, the fiber load is really important with diabetes issues. But due to the high pectin levels, apples can lower cholesterol and improve the body's ability to push waste through the, so keep it clean, kind of, sort of. It improves the health of the gastrointestinal tract. All right, so I have my apples in here. We're gonna have, these were really big apples. Your recipe calls for 3 apples, but this is 2. Good. These are not medium, I would call these large, so this is a little more apple than normal. Next, I want to put some lime juice in with it to, of course, keep it from oxidizing. And does everybody have one of these at their house? You do? You know what they are. They're awesome. Yeah, they're awesome. They're nothing but just a little squeezer to squeeze. Right? They work great. They're better than that thing that you... Yeah, those don't. And it takes forever to find it. It's behind the cabinet, behind the blender. This just gets in the utensil drawer. So we want enough lime, 2 tablespoons for this recipe. Some limes will give you more juice than others, right? But I generally kind of eyeball it anyway. Mix that up. That's going to keep it from oxidizing. Keep it the right color. All right, a little bit of garlic. So this is 1 large garlic clove. I like garlic, so I'm going to put 2 in. And I like to smash my garlic first. Smash it down before I mince it up. It keeps it from skipping across the kitchen for one thing. But it also tastes different to me. If I crush it first, I think it releases some of its good stuff that way.
Where's your garlic?
This garlic just came from the regular store. Like, it's not any kind of story behind my garlic today. Although, when I talk about it, I like German hardneck garlic from, I get it from Maple Creek Farms. That's my #1 favorite garlic. But German hardneck garlic doesn't have a long shelf life. But that's what I played at home. German hardneck.
Yeah, the roots on your garlic.
Pardon me?
Are there roots on your garlic? There's roots on your garlic. It's from here. Oh no, throw it out.
Yeah, no, this is regular old garlic. Yeah. But garlic garlic is garlic's an edible lily, right? It's in the lily family. And so, like garlic, onions, leeks, etc. Garlic is great for its cold fighting abilities. And isn't it funny that it comes into season, right when the cold season kind of starts? Let's see, it increases the potency of important cells of the immune system, the T lymphoids, the macrophages. The immune boosting properties of garlic appear to be due to its sulfur-containing compounds such as allicins and sulfides. Allicins are in all edible lilies, including the onion family. Terrific, it boosts your immune system. And so I'm not saying French onion soup is going to get rid of the cold, but if you have a cold, choose French onion instead of another kind, you know. Choose your onions. All right, so I went out and played with some peppers yesterday. This recipe literally calls for chopped green peppers and chopped jalapeno, but here's a place, and this is just from Myers, right close by, you know. I mixed them up, so I got poblano here, I've got a little Anaheim, and I got Serrano. My favorite hot pepper to cook with is Serrano over jalapeno. I'll tell you why. Serrano, while it's a little harder to clean up because it's got more seed, less not seed, you know, the seed to usable ratio is different than jalapeno, but it has a consistent heat. So for my recipes, it's almost always the same heat. Jalapeno, the heat seems to be all over, right? All over the place, so I use Serrano. And I love poblanos with this. So I'm gonna use my little tricks, my little treat. For getting the insides out, and that is melon baller. It works great, especially if you're doing a whole lot of, what's that? Especially if you're doing a whole lot of peppers. All right. Where do you get your garlic from?
There's a lady at the back over there.
There we go.
We're,
Did everybody hear that? Get your garlic here.
Clarkson Farm place here.
Clarkson.
Yeah, he always sells out. Everybody's like, ooh, give me. It's fresh. It always has 4 or more really big loaves.
There you go.
And it holds.
I'm gonna have to stop and get me some garlic. A little bit of seeds here won't hurt anything. All right. This recipe, the apples are best cut fresh. This recipe, if you want to reproduce it, you make the recipe in completion. Just hold off the. You can make the recipe completely a day ahead of time. Just don't cut the apples till the next day. When you do that, they'll stay nice and white. We got lime juice in here, of course, instead of lemon juice. Lime juice does have an antibiotic effect, and it can boost the activity of white blood cells. Of course, the more processed your food is, the less wellness ingredients it's going to have. Did you guys hear that ultra-processed food is now officially classified as an addictive substance? About time. It's about time.
Probably because it happened to somebody in the government.
Probably right. All right. All right, we got the garlic, we got our peppers in. It's time for some fresh cilantro. This cilantro, micro cilantro, there's nothing like it. You guys don't eat this, don't eat this. Because I'm going to pass it around, so you know. But pinch it, literally pinch it and take a smell. For those who like, go ahead and pass it around. For those who like, it's the same thing with all microgreens. Not only are the nutrients 40 times over its adult counterpart, the flavonoids and the flavors are off the charts. So much more flavorful. It's crazy. All right, so. I don't know if they're here today, but Taste of Petra sells, comes here often, and they sell a really good olive oil. I gotta recommend them highly. Their olive oil is very, very good. They also have it's a single source olive out of Jordan. They also have Aleppo pepper that they grow from Aleppo peppers. And so I'm using it for my Taste of Petra, the Aleppo peppers, but I ran out of their oil, so did you know that Fred Meyers has a private reserve oil? I didn't know that. Meyers is a Michigan company, right? We want simply a teaspoon. You can use any kind of oil in here. Flaxseed oil is not awful in here. Remember, flaxseed oil goes rancid pretty quickly, though. Nice. All right, and then we want our ground cumin. And then this one is 1/2 of 1 teaspoon. And you can go plus or minus, it's up to you. Salt. And pepper, and that's the salsa. This is great with chips, like we got those great chips down the way. Anywhere you do start with salsa. Such as scrambled eggs. And I think, chefs, we can start with scrambled eggs. So, my trick on scrambled eggs is very much kind of like Asian inspired. I get the pan crazy hot, too hot. In fact, so hot, I have to discard the first amount of oil I put in because it'll turn to smoke right away. So I put it in, swish around with just a little bit of oil and discard it into a metal container so you don't burn anybody or hurt anybody. And then proceed with using it. Now, there is a caution for Teflon. Anybody heard of Teflon fever? You guys know what I'm talking about? In California, it's mandatory that makers of Teflon label the Teflon warning. Fumes will cause possible deaths of small pets, parakeets and stuff, children, etc. Don't overheat, something like that. And what happens is that coating gets too hot and you get flu-like symptoms for like a day. So, remember next time you have a flu-like symptoms, body aches, your head kind of hurts, you feel like you got the flu. Did you have a really hot Teflon pan the night before? You might have, it's possible. It really, and I know for a fact, it really is very much like the flu. So while I'm saying heat up your pan, I'm saying be careful, don't overheat your pan. So we're gonna let that heat up real quick. In the meantime, just for quick sake, I brought some pre-opened eggs. One thing I did forget to put in was that Aleppo pepper from Taste of Petra. And it is a smoked pepper. pretty, very nice. So cilantro, the herb that's both a spice and an herb, right? The cilantro seeds is coriander. Let the seeds grow and it's cilantro. It's both an herb and a spice. Kind of cool. It's also terrific as a digestive aid, and it's also used as an anti-inflammatory. There's wellness properties in all kinds of food, but it's generally not there if it's processed. Fresh food is definitely where it's at. Definitely where it's at. So, what I'm going to do here, anybody got any questions at this point? I'm going to stop you. Yes, sir.
As opposed to cilantro, okay? It tastes just like it, but it doesn't look anything like it. Do you have any?
No. Where's it from?
Middle Eastern or Asian.
No, I won't, not until I get home.
I've gone to the store looking for one, and somebody said, well, I don't have that, but I have this. I'm like, well, that can't be right. It has exactly the same flavor signature, but the leaves are gigantic. It's not like parsley. It isn't even in the parsley family. It has silver name. Very weird.
Very interesting.
Also, have you tried the pomegranate molasses?
It's crazy good. I do a sea bass with pomegranate molasses. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Yes, ma'am. Well, Taste of Petra is a vendor that comes to the market here. They own a vineyard, or olive orchard in Jordan. They're not here today, but it's a very good product. It's got nice oleic acid. Oleic acid's the part of olive oil, good olive oil, that gives it that peppery flavor, but it's not too much oleic acid. I like it as a finishing oil. I like it all kinds of ways. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I have a question about the difference between the nutritional digestibility of whole eggs versus egg whites. Because I thought an egg was perfect as a whole egg from digestive standpoint, the protein and the fat, but an egg white kind of puts a improper disposition in your digestive system because it's too high concentration. Do you have an opinion on that?
Because it's too high what?
It's too high a concentration of protein, and the yolk is naturally designed to balance the white of the egg from a digestive standpoint. Or so I've been told.
To a statement like that, I'll generally say everything in moderation, right? I think if you're only eating eggs, or if you're an animal in a lab test, you're eating too much of one product, it's not going to balance out. You know, I don't have the scientific answer for you on the egg protein ratio of eggs versus egg whites, but if you're, a lot of these facts come from double-blind tests where they're eating all kinds of one product to be able to measure the biometrics after eating that one product. So here's my look at this. I think this is the sexiest thing ever. I'm sorry, but microgreens in an egg. I mean, you know, they're appetizing, right? They want it, and they cook right down. And so for folks who kids, right, or adults, it's more comfortable. I think it's more comfortable once it's whipped right down, right away. It still has the color. So when I put them in, that's it. I'll be right around there to fly. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was a great question. You're doing all right. Great. great question. Question in the mid back was, you know, I noticed that you use lime and not lemon. The lime, certainly, goes better, in my opinion, with cilantro. And the cilantro is the number one kind of flavor with this. Second to the apples. I think cilantro is the major flavor in this salsa. So cilantro, lime loves cilantro. So I chose lime. It could have been lemon. I chose lime.
It's a matter of taste.
Yes, sir. It's a matter of taste. All right. Okay. So, what's the next step? Salsa. Here's the next step. And this is true with every. This is true with every time you use a lavash, whether you're putting lunch meat in it or what have you. Eggs like I'm doing. Lavash is meant to be eaten warm. Warm. So I like to help it along, putting it right on the burner. Right on the burner. Right on the burner, right? Move it around a little bit. Even on taco night, Taco Tuesday at your house, right? This is a great thing to do to tortillas. They just love the heat, and they'll seal better. So when you go to roll them up, they're going to stay together and they won't fall apart in your hands. Now, if you got a hot pan from cooking the eggs, which I do, I just cook the eggs. I just heated up my lavash here. Let me just heat the salsa up just a little bit. I don't need to heat it up much. I just don't want cold salsa in with my eggs, right? And so, oh my goodness. Right? And just in and out of the pan. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now, this guy will fold up just fine. How about some pepper jack cheese in with it?
Whatever you say.
I don't have a choice, do I? All right, and let's take some questions while we're making some little snacks for you guys.
What's a lavash?
Lavash is like a tortilla. I don't know what the nationality it comes from, but lavash in my world and tortilla are sort of interchangeable. I think lavash is just for a sandwich. It's a slightly different dough, but they're both flat and thin. And tortillas will stick a little bit better. Lavash is what, if you go to the mall and you get a roll-up sandwich, it'll probably be a lavash, not a tortilla. That's a great question. Great question. All right, so we're gonna scramble some eggs. Whole lot of eggs. Onions, when they're when onions and garlic are crushed, as opposed to minced, they decrease the blood lipid levels and they prevent blood clot formation and lower blood pressure. They've been shown to lower the sugar level in your blood. It enhances natural insulin levels. Onions have also been known to treat the insulin. Asthma, not insulin, asthma. Yes. I guess this will be the first time I say this publicly. Just 2 days ago, I accepted a position with Atkins Handmade Pie Company. I'll be the corporate chef for Atkins. They're about to explode. They're all over town. They're in Whole Foods. So go to Whole Foods and get your pies. And
The best apple crumb pie.
the best apple crumb pie. You can send me I'll take your suggestions, ladies and gentlemen. I have a public Facebook page, Chef Frank Turner at Facebook. Right, I'll take your suggestions for your favorite pies. We're about to explode. Of course, Citizens Provisions, Microgreens and Specialty Picks is also a Facebook page.
Cut a nice section of these. So thinking that
Here, you go. Oh, thank you for that. Have fun. Okay. Yeah. You know, organic fresh is of course better, you know, the free range is better, there's going to be, but it's a big convenience part. Yes, you are, yes, but what is free range? Free range is like a 4x4 cage. Yes, ma'am. Got a great question out from the front here. It's about oil. Said, I see you using olive oil. What do you like to use most? What's your favorite kind of olive oil? And that's a good question. I do get asked a lot. Olive oil, the whole marketing behind olive oil or the message behind olive oil is, oh, it's got those omega-3s. The olive oils are good because they got a lot of omega-3s. Remember that oil is still oil, no matter what trace nutrients it has. Flaxseed is good oil, right? But it's still oil. So having those nice micronutrients in it doesn't make it okay to use more oil. Oil is fat. Fat is calories, right? And so when I don't have to worry about a high smoke point, a high heat cooking, yeah, I'll definitely use olive oil. I like grapeseed oil a lot. It's loaded with vitamin E, and it has a high smoke point, so you can use it in hotter applications. Avocado oil is nice for finishing oil, nice on dressings and whatnot. Oils like Taste of Petra, which are so good, it's kind of like a finishing oil. It's almost a waste to cook with it, because a lot of the flavor nuances that you have in oil get lost when you heat them up. And so if you got that really expensive oil going, I wouldn't cook with it. It's kind of a waste of money. You use it as a finishing oil. Yes, ma'am. Isn't it neat to have? I know. And with a little bit of microgreens, does it not change it completely? It's just eggs. But it's microgreens. You guys in the back, it'll taste way better by the time it gets back there. I'm just saying. It's like stuffing. My microgreens last a year. No. My microgreens last a long, long time. That's the thing about getting microgreens from local acre, right? Or microgreens from me whenever I get a home service going from a local purveyor. He cuts them and sells them, right? Somebody who's growing microgreens in California or whatever has it. They cut them, they put them in their fridge, and then they take it to a distribution house and it sits for a minute. And then it goes to another distribution house halfway across the country. Maybe it comes all the way to Detroit, but then again it sits in another distribution house. And so that's already got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days on it before it even gets to your house. Now it's going to so you go to the supermarket, 4 days. I would say about 4 days. My stuff, 14 days. His stuff, 14 days. Yeah. Just treat it like, so microgreens don't like it super cold. They like it just cold enough at 41 degrees or 40, 41. Somewhere between 38 and 41. So definitely put it in the produce keeper, in the produce drawer.
And the best way to save it, what would you put it in?
Well, it's usually sold in cello tin type containers, so just keep it in that. I put a little pad underneath mine, but the package it's sold in is generally the one that just keep it in. Works good.
It seems like it would be so fragile.
You tell them about the moisture that moisture also inside the container.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. I do have the pads that absorb some moisture, but it doesn't absorb kind of all of it all the time. So Chef pointed out, these guys are both chefs, by the way. Don't let them fool you. They're full-out chefs. Yeah, just dry the moisture sometimes. And that'll help extend the shelf life too. Great point. I'm cheating. I'm using eggs from Gordon's. Has a little citric acid in it. That keeps citric acid will keep your eggs, scrambled eggs, from turning green. No green eggs and ham, you know. And so it has a little citric acid in it. Cracked eggs. It is pasteurized, which is nice. When I'm feeding the crowd, I want to make sure I'm really safe. But at home, I would never. Very rarely would I use a convenience product at home. I mean, I'd have to have the whole family over in order to do that. I don't know. I got one going. Cool. This is not 17 steps.
Why not?
I got a little.
Is it raffle time? It's probably raffle time.
Breath time.
Any final questions from the audience? How about a round of applause for Chef Frank Turner? And I'm sure we'll see most of you at the next one, where we have Miss Erin Hamilton from the Mushroom Conservancy. Last time she made mushroom no-bake cookies for us, so who knows what she's going to come up with. But you have homework to do.